everyone. This is Dominic Copeland, and this is the Ish That Needs to Be Said. Welcome back, my friends, on this beautiful, wonderful, amazing journey that we've been on. And if you haven't been here with us before, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. Come together with all of us on this wonderful, beautiful journey that we're taking through life and through the Ish That Needs to Be Said. If you're just joining, what does that mean, the Ish That Needs to Be Said? Well, it means a lot of times in life, there's a lot of things that we need to say in order to move us forward, but we never say them. So it's the ish that needs to be said. The stuff that we often flush down the toilet, try not to say, or it comes out all the wrong way, but it needs to be said in order for us to move, to progress as a society. So I'm here to talk about those things. How I got elected to do it, I don't know. But I'm here. Obama said, look in the mirror. I'm looked in the mirror. The man in the mirror was me, so I decided to step up and do something. And out of that came the ish that needs to be said. So welcome again. And today we're going to deal with a few different topics. It's Women's History Month. So I wanted to go back and reiterate what I was saying before about the woke nightmare. Before I talked about the woke nightmare a couple of times. I had part one, part two. And now I want to talk about woke done right. Because often we talk about the things we don't want or things that are done wrong, but seldom do we talk about what it looks like when it's done right or it's headed in the right direction anyway. So I want to make sure that I don't make that same critical mistake or continue to make it and start to talk about what woke looks like when it's done right. When it comes to, women's growth, development, the women's movement and everything that's happening now in celebration of Women's History Month. And all the great history that's being made every day by wonderful, amazing women. So before we get into that, how's everybody doing today? Hope you're doing well. Hope you're enjoying the day. And if you're not, then this is a chance for you to stop, reset, and start to enjoy the magic that's within you and the magic that's within this day. I often say, no matter how difficult the day gets, there's moments where you can find to take a break, to take a breath, where things go right, or where they're at least not going as wrong as they were before. But instead of enjoying that moment and using that to restore ourselves, to restore our soul, we just continue along in that same realm of punishment. We start thinking through all the scenarios of everything that could go wrong, even though we're not in the moment where they were going wrong. So I'm asking you to stop. Take a breath, breathe it in, hold it, breathe it out. A lot of people will say, that's nonsense, that's whatever they want to call it. But I'm a pragmatist. I look at what works. If it works and makes sense, then that's something that I can utilize for my benefit, growth, and development. So that works. Being able to take a breath, being able to come back to yourself, and being able to have a different perspective on the things that you're dealing with. So no matter how difficult things get, take a break, take a second, take a breather, and refocus yourself on what you do want, not what you don't want. Talked about that before. Too many people focus on the things they don't want and they get more of it. Whatever you get focused on, you're going to get more of that thing. So if you focus on all the things you don't want, you're going to get more of what you don't want. You ever been driving to work in the morning and you're late and you just keep thinking, I can't be late. You keep thinking late. And all of a sudden, all these things keep coming to make you even later. Because you start to attract lateness to you, or all the things that can get in the way to create you being later than what you were. Maybe you wouldn't be late. Maybe you'd actually be on time because traffic would start to open up and things would start to flow and you get to where you need to be. But because you're not thinking that way, you don't give yourself an opportunity for that to happen. So start to control your own destiny through controlling your own thought process by controlling what you focus on. Again, start to control your own destiny through controlling your own thought process by controlling what you focus on. I just gave you a crown jewel right there if you didn't notice. So if you're able to utilize that, that's going to pay you back dividends for the rest of your life. And one of the things that always anchors me is Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning. And I think that's timely because of what we're experiencing right now. You know, a lot of strife and turmoil, a lot of things that are happening. From what happened with Hamas and what happened with Israel, all those things that are happening right now within our country, where in my own city, we can't have a conversation around Muslims and around Jewish people because it starts to bring in strife and all these other things that really don't pertain to our community itself. And we never stop to think, or seldom stop to think, how can we build a relationship between us here? Because we're not in the same situation. We're not in the 100 years or more war and battle and conflict that they've been in over there. We're not in that same situation. We're here now so that we can think different. We can be different. We can do different. We can become different. But if we keep along the same process, nothing's ever going to change. We're just going to get more of the same or worse. So in Viktor Frankl, Man's Search for Meaning, he talks about people in the Holocaust camps and the difference between why some people survived and why some people died off. Now, he's talking about death in different ways as well. People that just gave up and quit. And then other people that just determined no matter what, they would keep fighting through. Even though they were going through the same circumstances, the same situation, what separated these two groups of individuals? For the first group that said they would never quit, they had purpose. They had a reason to hold on that was greater than anything that they went through. For many of them, it was saying, someone has to know what we went through. Someone has to be able to hold accountable those who did this against us. And I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to quit. I'm not going to die until that day that happens. So they determined whatever they had to go through within those camps, their life had so much meaning because they would be able to right this wrong, or at least attempt to, or at least hold those accountable who created these horrendous wrongs so that throughout history, they could never do this again. So that was their why. Like Simon Sinek says, start with why. That was their why. They had meaning. Their life had meaning. It had purpose. That was the meaning and purpose they then began to attach to their life that was strong enough and great enough to get them through the atrocities that they had to bear on a daily basis. For those other people that were there that gave up spiritually, mentally, and physically, they didn't have any purpose or meaning. Their purpose or meaning might have died or went away with the loved ones that they had. So they didn't have that same need, that same desire, that same passion, that same have to, that same why as to why they would survive. And therefore, many of them did not. And many of the other ones did. And if they did not, they were able to try and pass on that legacy, that purpose, that meaning to someone else who may survive. So in our world today, we have a great lack of purpose and meaning. And because of that, even I, with my students, when I see it, they just don't have any purpose and meaning. And because of that, if you don't stand, like the saying goes, if you don't stand for something, you fall for anything. So if you don't have purpose and meaning within your life, something that carries you through all the difficult times, when the difficult times hit, you're either going to give up or you're going to turn to other things to take your mind away from it. You're going to turn to watching television all day, binging for hours upon hours. You're going to turn to smoking marijuana all day. You're going to turn to what they're trying to do now to make psychedelic drugs legal. You're going to start to turn to psychedelic drugs. It's insanity. You're going to turn to gambling. You're going to turn to the lottery. Anything to fill the void that you feel every single day because you don't have that meaning and purpose to your life. Human beings were made, they were created for purpose, for meaning. And without that, we struggle. Without that, we struggle. Because it's a core part of who we are. It's part of our genetic code. To have purpose and meaning to each day that we live. And when we don't have that or we can't find that, we fill that void with everything else that makes us not feel the pain of that void. The pain of not having purpose, the pain of not having meaning or knowing what it is for our lives. So my friends, it's time for us to go back, find that spark again, find that fire again, find that purpose and that meaning again. Every day can't just be a day that we let pass by. And every day can't be a day where we just feel purpose and meaning with things that don't really have any great purpose or meaning. The pursuit of money itself is not purpose. It's what we do with that money that begins to provide purpose and meaning to our lives. If we're able to affect the lives of others and make a difference for the better. But if we just hoard it, we just take it and we make everyone else's life worse. That's anti-purpose, my friends. It's anti-meaning. It's taking away, it's not giving. So the search for money, that's not meaning, that's not purpose. It can enhance your meaning and enhance your purpose. I once heard someone say that it's an amplifier, that money is an amplifier. And also, you can't just fill that void with sex and anything else like that as well. Because again, that's not purpose. It's not meaning. It's just an activity that you're doing to distract yourselves or give yourself a pleasurable outcome to some degree. But really, what has that done for the rest of humanity? What difference has that made for the better, for the good? And that can be done to your detriment, right? We're not here to fall down. We're here to stand up. Excuse me. We're here to rise up. We're not here to fall down. We're here to rise up, to rise above and beyond our circumstances. Like Jesus said, I've risen beyond the earth. I've risen above the earth. All these earthly things, all these earthly needs, I've risen above and beyond them to something greater, to something more. I can see beyond time, throughout time. I can see all of humanity, all of existence, beyond humanity itself. I can see how all this is connected in its meaning and its purpose, and my place and my role in it. How I connect to the past. How I connect to the future. How they all happen at the same time within me. As I do my part, I allow each one to exist. I allow the past, the present, the current to all exist together. Current. Current. Not just as in happening now, but current flowing through. Current flowing through all of time and existence. So my friends, be not belabored in your troubles. Do not lose spirit and dwell in despair. Do not be troubled by the waters that seem to overwhelm you, because within you is all that you need to rise above and beyond. And those troubles that you experience are just there to spark that thing within you that will allow you to rise above and beyond. They are just stepping stones to your greater success, and your success comes through your growth. Your success comes through what you contribute. Because as you grow, you can contribute more. As you grow more, you contribute more. That is the great purpose, great meaning of humanity. And even greater, we've been bestowed with powers where we can create our own existence. We can create our own world, our own universe. Nothing around you existed before it was created. And it first had to be created in someone's mind in order for it to be created in what we call our reality. The cameras that are filming right now, the microphone, the table, everything had to come first through someone's mind. It had to flow. That current of time, that current of existence had to flow through there for them to bring it to manifestation here before us. We've been gifted with those capabilities. We've just been squandering them away in current times instead of unlocking those and utilize them to continue to create, continue to manifest, continue to bring forth a greater reality for all of humanity. Human beings are just getting started. Our destiny still lies, the greater part of our destiny still lies before us. Our time is now. We just have to know that within ourselves and begin to unlock all those things so that we can contribute, so that we grow, so that we can contribute even more. This is our destiny, my friends. This is our destiny. This is our enlightenment. This is our enlightenment. Now, I said I would talk about woke done right. See, I talked about woke done all wrong. The woke nightmare, where there's a promise that's been made, right? Every leader makes a promise. And we change leaders based upon the promise that they give us. The promise that our needs, that our lives will be valued, that our needs will be met, that our concerns will be heard, that our pain is felt, and that there will be a relief to that pain. No leader is going to be elected if we feel like they're not going to be able to do that for us. Even currently, we have now two potential leaders that we're looking at. We have Joe Biden, that's already in office as president. We have Donald, who is looking to get back into office again as president. And they each appeal to certain people. You know, certain people for a while felt like they haven't been listened to, feel like the world is changing beyond the scope of what they can understand, and they're being forced into those changes that they don't feel comfortable with. So in their frustration, they turn to someone that they don't fully understand or comprehend, or someone who understands what their pain is, doesn't necessarily care about their pain, but they feel this person does, or at least this person can articulate what that pain is. This person can act in a way that they feel they want to act in regards to all these things that they feel like are woke, all these things that they feel like they don't agree with. They feel like they have someone that hears them and that empowers them. Because the rest of society, they felt like, was just trying to quietly move them to the side. I always tell people that I have different relationships with people. Some of the people that others don't like or don't understand or think are a pain, it's like I don't have the same relationship with them that you have. Because I actually take the time to listen to them, to speak to them, to value what they do bring to the table. I may not agree with all the things they say, and I'm sure they don't agree with all the things I say, but I respect and I appreciate them as human beings, as long as they can respect and appreciate me as the same. And I can listen to the pain and the things that they have frustration around. Even if I don't agree with it, some of it may need to be modified to, care for other human beings. But when no one's listening and the frustration is mounting and the desperation quietly begins to soar, and someone comes along and says, I hear you. I understand you. I care for you. I love you. You're right. You should feel that way. I feel that way. When we hear that, my friends, then we open up to that person. We give them what they cannot take from us. We give them our hopes. We give them our desperation so that they could relieve us of it. And that's what we find today when we look around our world. And people turn to others that we don't quite understand why they're turning to them. It's because everyone else they tried to turn to just didn't listen. Or just showed that they didn't care. Or just wasn't even close to being on the same page with them or trying to get on the same page. Called them crazy, called them all the kinds of things. Until we understand how to alleviate and change that, we're going to continue to have the same results that we've always had, that we continue to see now in the world. People just want to be heard. And they'll turn to whoever they feel is listening. Because then they feel valued. They feel like they matter. They feel like their life has meaning and a greater purpose. Without that, human beings have been programmed to need that. And without it, they'll do whatever they can to get it. And if they can't get that, it's just absolute hope and despair. And then often travesty. So that's what I was saying about, the woke nightmare. About woke done wrong, where everything, becomes about, it was all about all men in power. Then you start to switch to all women in power. It's like, well, that wasn't the deal that we made. That wasn't why we were making these changes. That wasn't why these people were being elected in, right? It's the same as if I, as a Black American, decided, Black American, also Native American mixed in as well, decided, only Black people or Native people can be in charge. How would you feel about that? I don't think you'd be okay with it because, again, I don't think that's the bargain that you're trying to make socially. And the deal that we were trying to make was for everything to be more inclusive. And we were looking towards leaders who we felt would fulfill that purpose, fulfill that meaning within life. That there would be more inclusive, especially for people who at the time weren't able to have a seat at the table, weren't able to have equity stake, a share, weren't able to have ownership and decision-making and the financial well-being of themselves and those that they represent. Now, here in Massachusetts, we have Maura Healey as our governor. And Governor Healey, as an example of woke done right, she didn't just say all women all the time everywhere. She said, let's make this inclusive and let me bring in some of the best and the brightest. Let me bring in people that have earned and deserved this opportunity. She brought in, for example, Patrick Tutwiler, who was the superintendent of Lynn Schools, and elevated him to the top post for education in the state of Massachusetts. That's woke done right. That's someone who's earned it, who's deserved it. And there's some elitism that goes into those things. I'll concede that. But when you look at him, he went to all the right schools. He went to Harvard. He went to some other top elite schools as well. And he worked in some of the biggest districts in the state. From Boston to leading Lynn public schools. So he earned those opportunities. And he actually was able to get that opportunity where he would not have before. Now, we just had the first Black American male teacher of the year in Massachusetts. Someone that's earned something that they wouldn't have gotten before previously, just because of the color of their skin. But also Maura Healey is bringing in other women that, like herself, identify in a different way, have different sexuality. She's bringing in women that are straight as well, men, white men, men of different races, women of different races, different cultures, I will say. There's only one race, that's the human race. That's what I believe. Well, that's what scientifically is true. We won't argue or debate that right now, but that is the ish that needs to be said. So, and also Mayor Michelle Wu down in Boston, when she first came in, she put together economic committee and appointed someone that was African American to be the head of that economic committee for all of Boston and to be a part of contracts so that they could change the racial divide as far as economic opportunity. It's woke done right. And it was someone that was already in a similar type of position that had earned that. Woke done right. And she's been doing the same in other areas as well. Now, do I hold these people up as heroes and that they're perfect and do everything? No, I do not. No one is that. No one is perfect. We're all human. We all do different things. We all do some depraved stuff at some point in time. That's life as a human being. Anything else of that is just a persona that doesn't truly exist. But we just make it out as if it does. And that's our fault partially because we feed into that and we create that. We create something that doesn't exist. But that's what we've done right. Taken to another level, right? Where it's inclusive, where people who traditionally didn't have a seat at the table have a seat, and where they're trying to reimagine what can be and reimagine how things can be done. There's going to be some stumbles, fumbles, and falls along the way in that process, but they're headed in that direction. So I appreciate that, and that's woke done right. So it's not the woke that everyone thinks of, where we worry about, the name of a bedroom being called a master bedroom and saying that's racist. I, as a black man, do not have time for that. I don't care. I don't care. I truly don't give a damn. If a bedroom is called a master bedroom, a bathroom is called a master bathroom. That's okay with me. I got bigger things to deal with. Let's talk about economic equity. Let's talk about having a seat at the tables of power. Let's talk about financially having the same opportunities for growth and having the same understanding that we can participate in that process. That's what I'm talking about. All that other stuff is just to keep you busy. All that other stuff is just to keep you asleep by saying that you're woke, but you're not woke. You're fast asleep, my friend, if that's what you're dealing with. If that's what you're focused on, you're still asleep. You're fast asleep, and you're having a dream that you're awake. You're fast asleep, and you're having a dream that you're awake, and you're living your life even though you're asleep. But when you have truly awoken, then you understand, okay, it's not about the nonsense and the bull that everyone tries to make it out to be. It's about actually creating this change, and these are the areas where that change needs to occur. I'm not worried about the color of this, that, or the third. I'm worried about opportunities, equity, economic equity, which is ownership, truly having a stake at the table in the society and having a say in the things that influence and impact us. And being able to be leaders in that process. Not just told what's going to be happening, but leading the process. That's being woke, my friends. That's being woke. And if you're not there, get there. Wake yourself up. Take a cold shower. In that dream that you're having, that you're actually awake and you're talking about master bedrooms and bathrooms, take a cold shower, wake yourself up, realize this doesn't matter at all. The stuff that he's talking about, the stuff that Dom's talking about, the ish that needs to be said, that's what matters. Wake yourself up to it. Don't step into it, rise into it. Rise into it. Now is the time, as it's been said, now is the time. This is the place. We are the ones. Either we're going to do it or we're not. I plan on getting it done like it's never been done before. Call me the Michael Jordan of this thing here. And not that I'm out here performing like this. No, I'm out here putting in the work like this. That's where greatness comes from. That's where true change and that's where difference comes from. Being able to make a difference. So my friends, again, thank you for being here. Tune in for the next time. But if you haven't already, I don't know why you wouldn't have. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. Let's build this community together. The world needs change. And as Drake said, I guess I'm the mother-loving cashier. So are we all. We're in this together. High School Musical time. Let's get it on. Let's do it. I'll see you back here shortly, my friends. Dominic Copeland. And this right here is the ish that needs to be said.